Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. Today's story is The Easy Way. Harold wriggled about in his seat uncomfortably. He hated to admit it, even to himself, but he would have given almost anything to be up on that stage playing his baritone horn. He looked down at his fisted hands, trying to avoid the pitying looks of his schoolmates. It was the night of the annual school concert, and he wasn't in it. His mother leaned over and patted him on the shoulder, murmuring soothing words, but they didn't soothe Harold this time as they usually did. As Harold stared at Roy, his best friend, confidently playing his clarinet there on the stage, he began to wonder whether his parents' decision had been really wise. He remembered a day several months ago, soon after school began. Mr. Bostwick, the bandmaster, must have been feeling really rough that day. Mr. Bostwick was always strict, but that day he was unusually so, even for him. He scolded both Harold and Roy so severely at band rehearsal that both boys had left the school angry as hornets and vowing they would never go to band practice again. Harold remembered that he had kept his hasty promise. He never did go back to rehearsal. He put his horn in its case, and there it stayed. But Roy had done differently. He was back to rehearsal the very next day. Harold asked him why, and Roy explained quietly, "Well, I was pretty mad at Mr. Bostwick, and I told my folks all about it. They sat down with me and talked the whole thing through. After a while, I could think a little clearer. They explained that there were two courses open to me. I could work off my anger by having nothing more to do with Mr. Bostwick or the band. That was the easiest course of action I could take," they said. Harold remembered interrupting Roy at this point. "That's the only thing to do," he said. "Show old Bostwick we'll never go back to band practice again and never have to take any more of his insults or scoldings. That'll show him." "But will it show him?" Roy had answered calmly. "My dad said I could grit my teeth and make up my mind I was going to learn to play my clarinet well in spite of everything and everybody and keep on going to rehearsals. That was the other possible course." Harold remembered shrugging his shoulders. "It sounds to me like you're chicken, just lying down and letting Mr. Bostwick walk all over you. Now me, I won't stand for that sort of stuff. He can't shove me around." Harold's parents had reacted differently than Roy's. They had been indignant at the bandmaster. They had told Harold he didn't have to take such insults. So Harold hadn't gone to rehearsals anymore. Now, as Harold watched Roy play, he wondered who had been right. Suddenly it seemed to him that Roy had gained so much, and he had lost so much. His horn lay idle in a dusty case at home, while Roy shone in his hands, bringing forth beautiful music, even though he had learned under a harsh taskmaster. But maybe that is one way to learn things, Harold thought, by strict discipline and constant application to duty. The band concert was over. But while Harold was applauding heartily, he was making up his mind that if he ever had another chance, he wouldn't take the easy way out.
The story you've heard today was first published as part of the Vacation Bible School program in the book God's World by the Review and Herald Publishing Association and the General Conference Sabbath School Department. If you are interested in any other products published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955. This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.